Hello and welcome. Today we're doing another tuna recipe. This time we're stepping it up a notch and it's the Highfalutin tuna pasta recipe. Now I make this all the time. It's really good and I keep the leftovers, eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So here we go, check it out. First thing you need to do is boil some water and get the pasta going. I always salt the water and I've been using this sea salt to do that. I think it's good for salt and pasta water. I am actually using this because the grocery store didn't have the other salt that I wanted. So I got this as a substitute and now I salt my noodles with it. So get that going. And the next thing we're gonna need to do is large dice an onion. Today I'm using white onion. I like the white onions or Vidalia sweets. It doesn't matter what kind of onion, but large dice an onion or two. I like to break the onions up a little bit. This is kind of the worst part about slicing onions. But I think they kind of come apart too. If you stir them a lot in the pan, they kind of break up on their own, but it's good to separate them a little bit so they cook evenly. Next thing, put a little oil in a pan. I'll go ahead and use olive oil since this is the highfalutin version. And let's start the onions. I use these things when I make highfalutin tuna pasta because you can grab the noodles with it. If you don't have these things, you can use a wooden spoon. Okay, next I need to prepare the tuna steaks. That's about 3/4 of a pound of tuna steaks, whatever, and I just cut them. I don't even pay attention to the grain of the tuna or whatever. It's just about getting some fish chunks in your pasta. So these are still kind of a little bit frozen. So I just kind of cut them where it'll let me cut them. And now that the onions have had a little bit of time, I take my tuna, throw it right in there. And I just always got to do this with fish. You got to have some lemon juice on fish. Little lemon juice right in the fish there. And also Old Bay seasoning right on the fish, on the tuna. Okay, now the water is boiling, so it's time to add some linguine. I'm just going to add a whole pack of linguine. And say what you will, but this is how I cook my pasta. I break it in half and then twist it around. Ooh, that's hot. Woo! So it doesn't stick. That way you don't get big clumps of it sticking together. You don't really have to stir it as much or anything. Get that going. Okay. Now we want to add some bell peppers. And these are just straight frozen right out of the freezer. I cut them like this and then freeze them. Throw some of those in there. And some green ones. So the seasonings is open to a little bit of interpretation here. You can do a lot of stuff. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of Cajun on all of that, just to give it a little something. Now keep in mind, you can make this pasta with other proteins too. You can make it with chicken, you can make it with shrimp, you could probably even make it with beef. I've never done it with beef or steak, but you probably could. So chicken, shrimp, tuna, whatever. So the protein you put in it is, you know, up to you, whatever you think would be good. Also add a little bit of fresh ground pepper in here. And I think I started my noodles a little early, guys. It's good to have the noodles ready for when this is ready. So I turned the heat down on this. But you don't want to overcook all your fish and everything. So make sure your noodles are going to be ready before this is done. And now we've got just a few minutes before we're ready to add the noodles. So I'm going to throw a little bit of garlic in this here. Okay, the noodles are done. Next we need to drain the noodles. My kitchen is not really set up for filming YouTube recipe content, but I'm making do with it. Hope I'm in the picture. Don't worry about draining the noodles too much because a little bit of pasta water is good in there to kind of make things not so dry. Now take your pasta, add it in here, and I also add a little bit of basil and maybe a little bit of thyme is good. Some spices aren't right for this. You kind of just have to use your own nose and your own senses. Like, I don't think sage would be good in there. So I just add that. And then some butter. Start stirring this stuff. And also Parmesan cheese. Now you can use the stuff out of the green can. I have the fresh stuff, and this is Highfalutin, so we're gonna use fresh. Put some Parmesan cheese in there. And you don't want your heat too high when you're doing this because the noodles will all start to stick and you'll have a big mess. So turn the heat down just to where it's warm, keeps the butter melting and everything warm. Okay, now this is optional, but I like a little bit of heat in my food. So I'm gonna put some Tabasco, and again, I don't know if you can see me. The habanero Tabasco is amazing. I really like it. It is probably a little spicy for some people, but read the ingredients on the habanero. It's got all kinds of good stuff in it, and the flavor is amazing. So just don't use a lot of it if you use it, but my grocery store is out of this habanero Tabasco sauce. I can't get it lately for the past few months. So I'm having to make do until I get more. I'm just gonna use this because I want some heat in my food, but try the Tabasco habanero. And I'll add a little bit of salt in there. And that's it, guys. The Highfalutin tuna pasta is done. Check it out.